Well, it could be a real scene from a movie featuring the two biggest stars on the planet, but without a big studio budget.
You killed Jeffrey Epstein, you animal! He was a good man! He knew too much about our Russia operations. He had to die, and now you die too.
So that 15-second clip is all the work of AI, made on the program Seedance 2 with just a 2-line prompt. Joining us live now, Chris Mattmann, the inaugural Chief Data and Artificial Intelligence Officer at the University of California. Good to see you this morning. I mean, it looks pretty real to me, Chris.
Pete, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It does look real. And that's what's really confusing, I think, to a lot of people. It's like, is this a big Hollywood budget film? I mean, the action is coming from multiple sequences. There's cuts. There's the realistic voices. The graphics look like they're 4K. This is a very powerful capability that, like you said, you only have to issue a 2-sentence prompt to get a clip like this.
So the Deadpool writer, I note that he said it's likely over for Hollywood. I mean, is it that dramatic? Is he right?
Well, I think the challenge and something that is sort of under the surface that you can't really see from just looking at this 15-second clip is, what were these models trained on? You know, this is Seedance 2, a model that started in China. It's a large language model. It produces videos. What were they trained on? I think that they're probably going to find out that a lot of this, content and so on and so forth, it's not remunerating the artist. It's not remunerating the studio. A lot of work has to be done in figuring out, when these types of videos are created, whether a company is going to use these technologies or not, how to remunerate the artists so that there's some, actual value for the content that they're training on.
That's the big thing, isn't it? I mean, image rights, that's going to continue to be a problem for those folks who are making movies with these prompts at a computer. So that proves that, remember those strikes in years gone by? So they were on the money, so to speak.
You know, Pete, the other thing that's really important to kind of understand about this too is that it's not like the use of AI, in terms of in these types of studios is totally being overlooked. I mean, there are companies like Asteria that grew out of here in the US. It's Natasha Lyonne's company. They're looking at using AI tools and how to do it. And it's not like the AI tools can generate a whole movie. You yourself said, and it's totally right, they generate about 15-second clips. So you're going to have to stitch them together. You're going to have to still do storyboarding and creativity. It's just, these are hyper accelerators. I mean, the types of content this is putting on social media right now, people are looking at different alternative endings to Stranger Things 5, and these other ones that are more believable, even, with Demogorgons that were then, were actually in the show. So they're allowing some exploration, but it's got to have watermarks. It's got to have citations. There's got to be remuneration. A lot of stuff has to be figured out.
I mean, it's a good example in Stranger Things. I mean, you can bring in action movies or Marvel movies now. I mean, you'd estimate that 50% of, say, a Marvel superhero movie could be AI already through the use of CGI.
You know, Pete, famously during WandaVision, during the pandemic, a lot of the actors, it was the early days of actually scanning them. Using LiDAR, they would image the actors. They hadn't worked out the legal framework for the contracts and everything yet. So a lot of WandaVision actors actually and actresses will say, hey, I didn't even know I was being scanned. And now they have their 3D digital twin that could be used, to represent them in other movies and used for training. And that's why it's so important, again, to figure out the legal framework, again, for intellectual property, for copyright, for remuneration. And that's why they're going to continue to work on that.
And how far off working all of that out do you think Hollywood is?
I think that there's, at least from the folks here in Los Angeles that I partner with and work with a lot, I think that there is an understanding that, resources and attention and the right minds are working at it. The biggest challenges that they have is, the incessant, well, first, attention spans like really decreasing. So the incessant need to kind of push out content and to do so in a way that's economical. And then also to figure out how to represent the different tiers of acting talent, the top tier ones versus, the ones that are regulars and extras, and what the structures of those deals look like. But I think that there is a lot of desire and there's a lot of, I would say, political will to get it done.
Yeah. When you're looking at something like Seedance, I mean, these sorts of clips, they would have been full of glitches some years ago, but they've moved ahead so rapidly now, it's more than passable. So where do you think this will end up heading, and will we know what's real and what's not?
Yeah, Pete, I mean, so we used to call the content that came out of these AI models AI slop. And there's
Yeah.
certainly a ton of AI slop. The joke before was that how well could these large language models generate Will Smith eating spaghetti,
Yeah, I've seen that one.
famously. And if you looked
Yeah.
at the version of that in 2023 compared to today, it's obviously a lot better. And so, yeah, it's ultimately indiscernible without watermarking, without labeling that says that this was AI generated. I mean, this clip is a great example. It's impossible to tell whether or not it happened. The voice, the audio, the clips, the video, the quality. It's just without watermarking, artificial intelligence will be ultimately indiscernible.
Yeah,
So
and would there be, I mean, threats of legal action? Let's say, I mean, hypotheticals here. If would a Brad Pitt or a Tom Cruise, take legal action to get that shut down? Those sorts of clips shut down?
I think that absolutely, and I think personally, I am aware. I think I read something in the news that said that there was a cease and desist. I think sent to the Seedance model makers and so forth related to that. I could see actors. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. has famously said, no one will use his digital twin, with even after his death, because his estate will kind of go after them. So I could definitely see and I'm seeing kind of a market for figuring out sort of the legal and intellectual property boundaries for
Yeah.
these types of interactions.
Oh, it's so interesting. But Chris, really good to have you with us today. Appreciate it. Thank you.